जय गोपीजनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपीजनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यमुनातीरवनचारी। यमुनातीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुञ्ज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुञ्ज बिहारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all for joining. Today we are reading Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, verse number 12. So we'll have prayers and then we'll start with the discussion. Let me share the prayers.
You're going to share your screen, Prabhuji?
Yes. So anyone would like to recite the prayers? If not, I can go and recite. Yeah, please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all devotees. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Namopishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांतो नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Tara Mataji. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
reciting those wonderful prayers. Okay, we'll get started with the verse number 12 today. Okay, so verse number 12 and 13 are combined together. So we'll just recite them together and then start. So, 1 second here, please. Okay. All right. So this is a famous verse because we just in the whole Bhagavad Gita, if you look at this 8, 9, 10, 11, these 4 verses are considered Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita, the 4 verses that transforms the Arjuna's mood into completely understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna doesn't have to transform because Arjuna is actually in the Sakhya Bhava, he's in the friendly relationship with Krishna. He's already a great devotee of Krishna, is a Vaishnava. But Krishna puts Arjuna in such a consciousness that he just exhibits a conditional soul's consciousness. And then naturally, conditional soul is bewildered when he sees so many challenges in front of him. And then Krishna takes him to the ride of what is really this material world, what is this body, what is soul, what is the relationship between body and the soul and the Paramatma, Atman Paramatma. And so he takes him for a ride, and then exactly in this 10th chapter, after understanding who Krishna is, now Arjuna himself is speaking that, oh, now I realize who you are. And then he completely transforms into the mood of a devotee who wants to understand more about Krishna. He really wants to know who is Krishna, what is his mission, why is he doing all this. So like Arjuna is coming into that kind of a transition. So that's why the 8, 9, 10, 11 is considered like a Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. So which we've already seen. So now we'll start with this verse number 12 and 13. So I'll just recite and then we can take turns to recite devotees. Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum आहुस्त्वं ऋषया सर्वे देवर्षिर्नारदस्तथा अशितो देवलो व्यासः स्वयं चैव ब्रवीषि मे. Hare Krishna. Anyone else would like to recite devotees?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Nandit Pranam. I can.
Yes.
Hare Krishna devotees, Nandit Pranam, all praise to Sri Prabhupada and Gurudev. Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Parandama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devarshi Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Pravishame. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Anyone else would like to recite devotees?
Yeah, I can recite, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Sashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rashya Sarve Devarishir Naradas Tata Asito Deva Vaisyaha Swayam Chaiva Bravisi Me. Hare Krishna. Back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Raghu Prabhu. Anyone else would like to recite devotees?
I can try Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji. Yeah.
Arjunuvacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adideva Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishayah Sarve Devarshirnaradastatha असीतो देवलो व्यासः स्वयं चैव प्रविशिमे. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else would like to recite devotees? If not, we'll go into the translation. Okay, let's see if anyone likes to read the synonyms and translation together. Yeah,
I can read, Prabhuji.
yeah, go ahead, Mataji. Yeah.
Synonyms: Arjuna Vachak. Arjuna said, Param, Supreme, Brahma, Truth, Param, Supreme, Dhamma, Sustenance, Pavitram, pure. Paramam, supreme. Bhavan, you. Purusham, personality. Shashvatam, eternal. Divyam, transcendental. Adidevam, the original Lord. Ajam, unborn. Vibhum, greatest. Aha, say. Tvam, of you. Rishi, sages. Sarve, all. Devarishi, the sage amongst the demigods. Narada, Narad. Tatha, also. Ashita, Asit, Asita. Devalah, Devala. Vyasah, Vyasa. Swayam, personally. Cha, also. Eva, certainly. Bravisi, you are explaining me unto me. S- Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate adobe, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala and Vyasa confirms this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So we have a few paragraphs per board. So let's see if anyone would like to start with the first paragraph.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danda Pranam.
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Abhay Charana Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Purport. In these two verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the Mayavadi philosopher. For here, it is clear that the Supreme is different from the individual soul. Arjuna, after hearing the essential 4 verses of Bhagavad Gita in this chapter, become completely free from all doubts and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, stated that he is the originator of everything and everyone. Every demigod and every human being is dependent on him. Men and demigods, out of ignorance, think that they are absolute and independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That ignorance is removed perfectly by the discharge of devotional service. This has already been explained in the previous verse by the Lord. Now, by His grace, Arjuna is accepting Him as the supreme truth in concordance with the Vedic injunction. It is not that because Krishna is Arjuna's intimate friend, Arjuna is flattering him by calling him the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth. Wherever Arjuna says in these two verses is confirmed by Vedic truth. Vedic injunctions affirm that only one who takes to devotional service of the Supreme Lord can understand him, whereas others cannot. Each and every word of his verse spoken by Arjuna is confirmed by Vedic injunction. Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji, you can continue maybe next paragraph. Yeah.
Yes. In the Upanishad, it is stated that the Supreme Brahman is the rest for everything. And Krishna has already explained that everything is resting on him. The Mundoka Upanishad confirms that the Supreme Lord in whom everything is resting can be realized only by those who engage constantly in thinking of him. This constant thinking of Krishna, some smaranam, one of the methods of devotional service. It is only by devotional service to Krishna that one can understand his position and get rid of his material body. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Yeah, anyone would like to read the starting third paragraph?
Yeah, I can read, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
All right. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is accepted as the purest of the pure. One who understands that Krishna is the purest of the pure can become purified from all sinful activities. One cannot be disinfected from sinful activities unless he surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. Arjuna's acceptance of Krishna, the Supreme Pure, complies with the injunctions of Vedic literature. This is also confirmed by great personalities, of whom Narada is the chief. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one should always meditate upon him and enjoy one's transcendental relationship with him. He is the supreme existence, is free from bodily needs, birth and death. Not only does Arjuna confirm this, but all the Vedic literatures, Puranas, and histories, and history. In all Vedic literatures, Krishna is thus described. And the Supreme Lord himself also says in the fourth chapter, although I am unborn, I appear on the earth to establish religious principles. He is the supreme origin. He has no cause, for he is the cause of all causes, and everything is emanating from him. This perfect knowledge can be had by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Here Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. If we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should accept the statements in these two verses. This is called the Parampara system, acceptance of the disciplic succession. Unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. It is not possible by so-called academic education. Unfortunately, those proud of their academic education, despite so much evidence in Vedic literatures, stick to their obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Raghu Prabhuji. Any thoughts that you would like to share, Prabhuji, on this?
Very nice words. Along with us, Arjuna has been hearing all the previous chapters from Krishna. And of course, Arjuna knows who he is, but for our benefit, he's pretending as though he understood only now. But he 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 praises the Supreme Lord, and he praises him with many superlatives. He calls him the Param Dhamma, Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the absolute truth, then him being eternal, transcendental, everything that's saying in the text. He's the Adi Purusha, he's the unborn. And then whatever he has said uh, is, uh, is, is, uh, is established, has been established and validated already by several rishis like Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, Vyasadeva. So, one other thing. So, uh, the one other thing that Arjuna mentions here, uh, when Krishna first gave the Bhagavad Gita to the sun god, it was then we read in the earlier chapters that it was somehow that knowledge was lost, and then he had to relay everything to Arjuna again, and Arjuna has then relayed that information through the parampara system down to us. So when we go to our gurus and like this discussion that we're having here, this is how we get our information. And by reading the Bhagavad Gita and following having faith in what is being said, if we start questioning what is being said, then it's difficult to develop the faith. So this goes hand in hand. The bhakti will start once you have the faith. And that's one of the things that's emphasized here. So those are some of the points, Prabhuji. I'll give it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Raghu Prabhu. Those are wonderful points. I think you summarized really well. So we'll just discuss some of these key points that Arjuna is sharing today, and then we'll also have a discussion, devotees. So, like I said, this is a very, very important verse. Like in this verse, the transformation of Arjuna is coming out, and Prabhupada is also pointing out in the purport. So the previous four verses are very, very beautiful verses. So in these four verses, Krishna is actually revealing many, many things, starting from the Aham Sarvasya Prabhava Matta Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Bhuta Bhava Samanvitaha. So it's basically Krishna is emphasizing two times he is the source of everything, everything emanates from him. And the wise who knows him engage in the devotional service. So the emphasis in these four verses is again, Krishna is emphasizing, one is the wisest is basically one who performs devotional service. The wisest is the one who takes great enlightenment, satisfaction by discussing about my katha, my pastimes, my glories. And again, Krishna is just emphasizing. And then there may be a question that comes to our heart, like how would that person will get intelligence, how to achieve Krishna consciousness without reading all the knowledge, all the Vedic scriptures. And Krishna saying, just by love, I am living in the everyone's heart. So I will enlighten that person with a torch of knowledge. So Tesham, so in the final verse, he says that Tesham evan kampartam aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atmabhavasto jnana deepena bhashvata. So the jnana deepena is the light of knowledge. So the light is always compared to knowledge and darkness is compared to ignorance. So Krishna in the heart, he's saying that, don't worry if you're not very intelligent, very much learned Vedic scholar. Just if you try to love me, then automatically I will eliminate everything from your heart. All of your ignorance will be wiped off. Nashayami means completely dispel all the ignorance, the darkness that is in the material world. So now Krishna spoke these four key verses. Now Arjuna is transforming into this state of consciousness where he completely agrees, oh yes, Krishna, you are actually the Supreme Lord, Godhead. You are not just a person standing in front of me. You're not an ordinary person, you're Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, I mean, for many of us, even in the material world, we can see God is important to an extent that he just gives us everything. He's an order supplier. Like if you go to someone and then tell the importance of having a relationship with God, yeah, God is important to the extent that he is supplying all my necessities. After that, my life is my life, his life is his life. What is so great about establishing a relationship with God and understanding him, about who he is and why I should go to such an extent to understand all the details. It's why is it even necessary to understand Krishna is God? So all that questions will come out if you discuss with the common man. So the truth is, if you go in front of a mirror, in front of a mirror, what we see is our face, right? But if you switch off the light in the room, can we see our face? We cannot see our face, right? So in order to see our own face, we need mirror, we need light. So actually to understanding God is basically understanding ourselves also. Simultaneously, it's understanding God is understanding ourselves. Both goes in hand together. So understanding God is not something that is completely opposite of your interest. It is actually your self-interest to understand Krishna or Vishnu. So that's why Bhagavatam also says, Nate vidur swardhakatim sa Vishnu. Your actual self-interest is understanding Vishnu. Who is Vishnu? Because behind Vishnu, the whole creation is there. So behind Krishna, the whole material nature is there, the whole Prakriti is there, the whole karma cycle is revolving around his commands, and the whole time, Kala is revolving around his orders. So everything is behind Krishna. So by understanding Krishna, we can understand everything about ourselves, everything about the Prakriti, and even beyond ourselves. Like there are certain knowledge that we cannot understand, but Krishna is speaking by himself, so we can understand all of those topics. So now, so understanding Krishna is so important that now Arjuna is coming to understand who Krishna really is and what are some of his features. Like, so if you want to understand a person, you may say, okay, he looks like 5 feet tall, he's thin, like he is a short nosed person, like that. You can say features, how he looks. And then beyond certain point, people might ask, okay, what are his qualities? How does is he a sinful person or is he pure? Is he like what kind of qualities does he have? Like ordinary human being. But what about God? God has all the wonderful qualities, but we should be able to define them in certain ways. So Arjuna is defining them with certain ways, that how we define a person. So Krishna is a person. Krishna is also the whole creation. He is also a person. So when we define Krishna, or when we define God, these are the features that we can define. So he is absolute truth. So he is the Param Brahma. Param Brahma means absolute truth, means there can be several relative truths, right? So there can be relative truths, like this is true, this is true, this is true. But finally, if you go to the source of everything, then he is that absolute truth from which all the truths manifested. So Param Brahma, Param Dhama. Dhama means there are many wonderful places where people live, right? So if you look at a mountain is actually a residence for so many living entities. There may be caves where the lions live. There may be a lot of birds where in the trees they live. And then all the small ants, they live in a small hole. But if as a big mountain, it is giving shelter to so many living entities. So like that, there are many places where the people take shelter, but this whole creation is actually taking shelter on Krishna. So Krishna is like the example is given in Bhagavad Gita. He is like the thread that is sustaining all the pearls to stay in that wonderful garland. So he is like that. So Krishna is basically the Param Dhamma, means the supreme destination or supreme sustenance where everything is sheltered around. So, and Krishna is mentioned as Pavitram. So, pure. Pavitram is, we can understand in this material world, there are many things considered as pure: Ganga water, Tulasi plant. So Krishna is the purest of the pure. By his presence, he can purify even the sacred waters. So in the Krishna's pastime in the Govardhana hill, when all the rivers they came and then they filled Shamakund, where Krishna called all the rivers, summoned all the rivers to come. And that time they actually said that we are purified by actually giving our waters for your bath. So that way, even the supreme, the purest of the pure, the Ganges water also gets purified when Krishna touches his lotus feet on those waters. So, like that, there are many qualities that here, these are very important, very prominent qualities. So, like I said, the God is a person. So, God is also an energy. God is also everything in the material world and spiritual world, because He has a universal form where everything sustains in the universal form. But He is also a person. So that Purusham, that keyword, that Sanskrit word Purusham represents the God is a person. And Shashvatam is eternal. He doesn't, his body doesn't destroy like our material body made of Panchabhutas. So the body made of Panchabhutas has a beginning, has an end. It transforms and it produces byproducts. But the Supreme Lord, his body is just like if you look at a golden a doll. If you look at a golden doll, everything is made of gold. So like that, his whole body is made of spirit. There is no difference between his body and his soul. That's how Krishna is able to perform wonderful pastimes. He was able to lift Govardhan hill. He was dancing on the hoods of Kaliya. He was killing many big demons who were like so huge. And he was just like a small boy cannot lift anything, even and small umbrella for like 10 minutes, right? So Krishna is lifting his whole big mountain in a pinky finger. This is not like a body made of Panchabhutas. This is completely spirit, and Krishna can define his gravity. When he defines his gravity, the whole mountain can float. He doesn't have to even hold his finger, but his pastime is just showing that he's holding just like he's showing his finger. So, like that, Krishna has is an absolute truth. He has all this energies behind him, and he is fully eternal. He's and he's transcendental, divyam. So, this word divyam mentions that all of these qualities does not belong to the three modes of nature, sattva, rajas, tamas. It is beyond the three modes. So that's why Arjuna is putting divyam. And Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum. So Adi Devam is the origin of all the demigods. So Deva means the demigods, and Adi means the origin of all the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Brahma. And Ajam is unborn. So this is again for the materialistic world. This word is like very inquisitive. Like, what is unborn? Unborn means we cannot even conceptualize what is unborn. Everything is born, everything is destroyed in the material world. But there is one thing that we can understand is unborn by looking at the consciousness. So the consciousness transforms from one body to another body, and that consciousness is unborn. And Krishna is a supreme consciousness from whom that the minute consciousness also manifests. So from that perspective, we can understand what is that which pervades the whole body, that cannot be manufactured anywhere in the material world. So initially, Prabhupada was having a lot of discussions with his disciples. His disciples used to challenge Prabhupada. This scientist is saying that he is going to create a soul in the laboratory, and Prabhupada used to challenge. They will not be able to do it. They may keep saying this for 1,000 years, but no one can manufacture a soul in the laboratory. So all they do is they just bring the same nature is already doing it in the mother's womb. The baby is born by father injecting the semen. The semen carries the soul. The same thing, they just do it in a laboratory. Whatever is the nature is already doing it. So that is nothing different. It's nothing unique. So Prabhupada challenged even in 1970s, he challenged no one can do it. Until date, no one can do it. So it is not possible to create even a one living entity in a laboratory chemicals. So Ajam and then Vibhum, the greatest. So this word Vibhu means the greatest, and then the opposite of Vibhu is the Anu. Anu is the smallest, Parama Anu. So the Paramanu is the Sanskrit word for an atom, which is not breakable. No. So when you break that, then the whole atom bomb comes, right? So even within the atom, we know there is Lord is present. Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma says, Ekopi acho rachayitam jagadanda kotim yachaktir jagadanda chayadadanta andantrastu paramanu chayantrastam govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajam. So that paramanu is the Lord is actually the smallest, and he's also greatest. Because he can be he's even within the atom, so he's the smallest of the smallest, and he's also greatest of the greatest. So one time Prabhupada was challenging that all of you guys are taking so much credit in flying the Boeing 787, such a big, and it is making so much noise like that. Can you make a small thing and then fly? It can fly from one ocean across the ocean. Can you do it? Like that, he was challenging. So, because the greatness is not just the big thing, it's also the greatness is the small thing. So that is why nobody can even beat the greatness of Krishna in this, the smallest of the smallest also. So, like that, Krishna's qualities in each unique way, Arjuna is now describing, and he's completely, he's convinced. And then to convince others, he's also quoting an evidence. He's saying, Ashita, like these are all great sages, Devala, Vyasa, Narada. Not only me, I may be biased because I'm friend of Arjuna, but all these great sages have already concluded. Swayam Chaiva Bravishi Me. So they concluded that Krishna, you are actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now, so here the importance of accepting Krishna as a Supreme Lord is very important. It's not, like in the Bhagavad Gita introduction itself, Prabhupada says, at least one has to accept Krishna as a Supreme Lord to theoretically understand what is this, understand this knowledge, even if you're completely not convinced. But as you progress understanding Bhagavad Gita, our consciousness should increase to such an extent that we should be fully convinced that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So that way, what happens? Just like I was giving this example, when we see the mirror, we see our own face. So when we understand Krishna, our own self-realization understanding also keeps increasing. And a day comes that we completely understand we are not this body, we are spirit soul, and we have an eternal relationship with Krishna, and we don't die when the body perishes, we continue to exist. All this knowledge is revealed when we come to that stage that's called the Brahma Bhuta stage. So Bhagavad Gita says that Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kangshati samak sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim lavate param. So at the Brahma Bhuta stage, Krishna says that you will not have any hankering, you will not have any lamentation. So in the material world, Prabhupada calls these two are diseases, lamenting and hankering. So hankering is something I don't have, I'm hankering after that. Lamenting is I already had something, I lost it. I'm lamenting, oh, I lost that. So in this material world, everything, when we came to this material world as a small baby, we didn't bring anything. Or whatever we acquired here. So and then when we acquire something, until we acquire, we have an anxiety. We have that kangshati, hankering. After we acquire, when we lose it, we have this sochati. This sochati and kangshati is like the opposite that keeps happening in the material world. So the rich people also, they become poor, and the poor people become rich. This cycle goes on and on. So these two are like the diseased condition. The real happiness is the Brahmabhuta stage, where that the person feels I am actually the spirit soul. And then what happens at that stage is prasanna atma. So the soul becomes very peaceful and satisfied. And then there is no sochati kangshati. At that point, it becomes completely attached to Krishna's devotion. Samak sarveshu bhuteshu. He sees everybody equal, all the living entities equal. And mad bhaktim lavate param. So Krishna says that at that point, the soul attains to my devotion with full conviction, with full bliss. So that is just the beginning. After that, all of these wonderful devotees we see in Mathura and Vrindavan, they are all actually crossed the stage of Brahma Bhuta, and now they are having a relationship with Krishna. They are having a real life, that enjoying that relationship with Krishna on the positive side. But on the negative side, we are suffering. On the neutral, we at least, take to that devotion of Krishna with the full conviction. On the positive side, we live a life full of devotion. So that's why the Vaishnavas are very great, because even in the material world, they are living the life full of devotion, and which is the essence in the spiritual world also. This does not belong to the material world, belongs to the spiritual world. When somebody is living 100% life full of devotion, it's very, very rare to see. And that is why Vaishnavas are Jivan Muktas, even living, they are all liberated, the liberated souls. So these are some glories of devotional service, and why Krishna is explaining, why Arjuna is explaining these points, and is giving an evidence based on all the acharyas, devotees. So let's discuss some points, and then all of the devotees can share, and then we'll discuss. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Anyone would like to share any thoughts, devotees?
Krishna Prabhuji, very nicely explained. So here we see, like, sometimes people ask why Krishna is Bhagavan. Then we take the examples, look, Arjuna telling Bhagavan, Brahma telling Bhagavan in the Brahma Samhita, that Anadim, Advaitam,
Ishvara
Achyutam,
Paramprush.
yeah,
Yes.
Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anandalupam, Addam, and then our, sorry, the
Anadiradi Govindaha Sarvakarana Karanam Prabhuji.
yes. Even Vishnudev telling on his deathbed that Eshobai Sakshat Bhagavan, Narayan Puman, Narayan Pusham Puman. Even, yes, so Lord Shiva was also telling to Mother Parvati that Aradam Sarvesham Vishnu Adinam Param. So these are the coming from the great devotees and great personalities. The other people who worship them, Brahma, Shiva, Vishnudev, they're also telling the same, that Krishna is the Adim, Anadim, Narayan Purusham Puman. He's a Bhukta. So that all proves that not Krishna is claiming himself, Om Sarva Sarva Mata Sampavate, others also supporting what he's claiming. So that way, Krishna is a supreme personal Godhead. Back to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Also, Prabhuji in the Bhagavatam is telling that Vasudeva Param Veda, Vasudeva Param Mokha, Vasudeva Param Yoga, Vasudeva Param Kriya, Vasudeva Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Para Tapa, Vasudeva Para Dharma, Vasudeva Para Goti. So everything proves that Krishna is supreme personal Godhead.
Yes.
Back to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Baldev Prabhu. Yeah, so like Baldev Prabhu quoted few verses. So Arjuna quoted the evidence, and Baldev Prabhu also now quoted more evidences why Krishna is the supreme personality Godhead. Not on Brahmaji says, Lord Shiva says, and all the Vaishnavas are saying, and Vedic scriptures, the Yajurveda, Samaveda, Adharvana Veda, there are references in Puranas everywhere, and Krishna himself says. So these are, so we can understand that even after everything points to Krishna, if somebody doesn't want to accept Krishna, then it's basically their own choice, right? Hare Krishna. Any other thoughts, devotees? Anyone else would like to share?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, wonderfully explained by you and Prabhuji. So here we can say that Lord Krishna can be understood by the Supreme as the Supreme to be, one who follows the Guru Sadhu Shastra and who cultivates Krishna consciousness. Earlier, in the Chatushloki, Krishna gave the whole, gist of Bhagavad Gita. Special mercies rendered only, for the pure devotee. And here we can see that Arjuna now accepting Lord Krishna because he has full faith and because he has full sincerity. And he recites the prayers to glorify, as we know in Bhagavatam also, Kunti Devi glorifies, Brahma prayers are there, Prahlad prayers, Dhruva Maharaj prayers, like that. Here Arjuna is telling Krishna to describe how he can be appreciated. So Arjuna is accepting that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and of how Prabhupada says that how he refused the modern Mayavadi philosophers. Arjuna is accepting, not simply just flattering because as a friend, we flatter, but here Arjuna is fully surrendered. Every word, he says is by his heart. And he even says that all the great sages accept this, like Asita, Devala, Vyasa, and everybody. Krishna himself established it, Arjuna realized, because in fact, Krishna says his devotee to glorify, who say to the world, because he can, he cannot, sometimes he misses his word because for his devotee, but Krishna's devotees never are wrong. So in this way, we can see that how the Arjuna made his mood to accept Lord Krishna, and also despite the evidence, one sticks to the Krishna consciousness. As should know that even in 9/11 also, modas, they think that even when Krishna comes, they can't see his true potency. Like Duryodhana, all the Kauravas saw Krishna face to face, but they were not able to recognize him. So in that way, we can see that how Krishna is Lord of all the lords. You can see that the great sages Narada, Sita, Devala, Vyasa confirm this. And of course, in the same Upanishads also, it is stated that the Supreme Brahman is the rest for everything. And Krishna is already explained in Prabhupada gives here in Mandukapa Upanishad also. That's my understanding, Prabhuji. Please add Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Subal Prabhuji. Yeah, like you mentioned, all of the great scriptures, they also glorify Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. Krishna is it's known as Uttama Shloka, Gunanu Varnani, like, so his qualities and his activities are described with the choicest of words. Uttama Shloka means not just any words, only choicest of the words is used by devotees. So one of the 64 qualities of devotion, Vaishnavas are they are a poet. Vaishnavas are considered they are very poetic. So that's why you see the very beautiful Mukundamala, and the many scriptures are not just philosophy; it's also very poetic. We can sing it, we can relish it. Is the Vaishnavas, one of the qualities of Vaishnavas, they are very poetic. So, and Krishna is glorified with the choicest of words. Whatever words Arjuna is using is not just random words, very choicefully Arjuna is choosing all these words carefully because Krishna is Uttama Shloka, is called Uttama Shloka. So, when we can, in this material world, we know, everybody likes flattering, but we cannot flatter Krishna because he's the origin of everything. We can only glorify him, and we can glorify him with the choicest of the words according to that also Krishna only inspires us to glorify. So when Dhuru Maharaj was praying to the Paramatma feature in the Atma, he was just closing his eyes and meditating. He was getting that Shankha Chakra Gada Padma form, darshan. And as soon as the darshan vanished, he opened his eye and he saw Krishna in front of his face to face. The same feature, the Paramatma feature, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma feature, and he could not even speak a word. And then Lord touched the conch shell on his head, and then he started reciting all the glories. So even to glorify Krishna, we need his blessings and energies. So whatever we are able to glorify, it's all because of him, because he is the whole, the source of whole energies. So, any other thoughts, devotees? Anyone else would like to share?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I was wanting to see if you can maybe elaborate more on the Mayavadi theory. I was reading chapter 2.12 today, and it was about that the Mayavadi theory is where they believe that after liberation, the souls merge into the impersonal Brahman, and they lose their individual existence. Um, uh, which of course that's not what we believe what Krishna Bhagwan has said. But over here in this verse that we read, it says in these two verses the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the Mayavadi philosopher, since it's clear that the Supreme is different from the individual soul. Can you just explain that a little bit more for me, please?
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you.
Sure, Mataji. I'll share my thoughts. So Arjuna and Krishna, like two people, right? So if you look at the conversation, it is not just Arjuna is not imagining somebody. He's seeing Krishna face to face, and he's talking to Krishna, asking questions. So Arjuna is there and Krishna is there. They are both conversing. So Arjuna is asking questions, Krishna is replying with all the answers. Now, at this point in the 10th chapter, Arjuna's transformation is considered like the soul's transformations, understanding who Krishna is. And then Krishna is representing the Paramatma Supreme Lord, is Bhagavan. So he is in the last four verses, Krishna gives that very, very important aspect of he is the source of everything, everything emanates from him. And then the anyone who understands this engages in bhakti, and through bhakti they can relish they can relish his glorify Krishna, and they can relish and they can become very close in that relationship. And then Krishna says that he will reveal, so Krishna will reveal the knowledge by destroying the ignorance. So Krishna is saying that the soul, the individual soul, that I will help you. Okay, don't worry, I'll help you. I will relieve you from ignorance. I'll nashayami atma bhavasto. So with the torch of knowledge, I will destroy the ignorance. All that you have to do is come in contact with me by the bhakti process. So here two people, Paramatma and Atma, they're discussing. So if Atma and Paramatma are one, there is no scope of one encouraging the other that okay, you come in contact with me so I can actually recover you from this ignorance. There is no scope, because in the Mayavadi philosophy they say that we are the Lord. When the Lord comes to the material world, he is also covered by Maya. So for them, Maya is superior to Bhagavan. And when Krishna takes birth, he also takes birth just like us in the mother's womb. And he has a body like us, he leaves the body. Again, it merges into the supreme soul, like the whole creation. So from Mayavadi philosophy, every individual is they are conditioned, and then once they understand that they are not this body, they also become supreme. So if that is a fact, then there is no scope of one being superior, one being inferior. That Krishna always, the Mayavadi philosophers, if you look at the other verses, they always come up with some excuses. They say that, okay, in this case, it is not to Krishna, it is the soul within, like that. But in these four verses, it's so clear that Krishna directly saying, Nashayami Atma Bhavastu, he directly says all this to Arjuna, that Prabhupada is even emphasizing that it is very clear. He wants to even give a chance to Mayavadi philosophers that at least by these last two verses, there is no scope of any interpretation. It is very direct, and a philosopher cannot again interpret saying this is not Krishna. So it's very clear. So from that perspective, Prabhupada is saying that even somebody is so much inclined to Mayavada philosophy, they can also, from these two verses, derive a great understanding that Krishna is the supreme and soul is, as his position, always subordinate to Krishna. So that these two positions, that Krishna is completely established in these two verses. So that is why Prabhupada is emphasizing the verse number 9 and 10. So these two verses, Prabhupada is emphasizing that how these two verses 9, 10 and 11, so that how Krishna directly says And then Prabhupada elaborates in the purport how the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is basically how that in the Kali Yuga we can establish that relationship, and Krishna can destroy that ignorance with a lamp of knowledge by chanting this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So even the Mayavadi philosophers, they can take advantage of these two verses and understand that the God is supreme and he is individual person, and he can give us knowledge and we can establish this relationship. So, I mean, love, like Prabhupada gives many examples, like a relationship means at least two people we need. Like one has to give, another has to receive, another has to give, and this person has to receive. There is a transaction. So between us and the Supreme, there is a transaction, and this transaction is again established in Bhagavad Gita. So, but these two verses are very predominant. So these are some thoughts, Mataji. Hope.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And you went into great detail. So now I understand it so much better. Thanks to you. Even in the 2.12 I was reading, and Srila Prabhupada also says that the Mayadi philosophers are contradicting themselves because of, in the previous verse 2.11, he um, uh, what they talk about is contradictory to what they argue about in 2.12. But I guess I wanted to, an overall viewpoint of the Mayavadi theory so I can understand what they are trying to say. Sometimes you get questions from peers. So, so I wanted to make sure I, understand it better. So thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. You're welcome, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees. It's 8:59. 9 o'clock. We'll conclude today's session. श्रीमद् भगवत गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। वंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
नमः।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna,
Pranam
Dandavat
Prabhuji,
Pranam.
हरे
Shri
कृष्ण।
Krishnadas
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji,
Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे
Dandavат
कृष्ण।
Pranam, Subal Prabhuji ki Hari
जय।
Bol.